Yeah, hello.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. And you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. My name is Tracy.
Okay, first of all, your name is nice, Tracy. Okay, and my name is Prakash, light,
Prakash. The name of Prakash means light.
light, yes. In English, Ligst, light.
That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing that detail with me. I enjoy understanding what names mean. So wonderful for sharing. Thank you. So, Prakash, how can I assist you with your English today?
Yeah, okay. Can we talk like the IELTS part one and part two?
Sure. Have you enrolled in the course? Let's see here. So I see that you have a lesson already on board. Would you like to do this lesson with the exam in mind?
No, 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 not for exam, just only for practice.
Okay, so let me ask you a few questions, and I want you to speak liberally as you wish, okay? Because I
Yeah.
want to hear what things possibly I can help you with. So, Prakash, please start by telling me what is your profession? What do you do?
I'm a teacher in India.
Okay, tell me a bit more. What do you teach? And give me some details.
Hmm. Yeah, I teach Sanskrit and English languages.
Wow. So, Sanskrit is an ancient language.
Hmm.
Tell me more about it. Please be liberal. I would like for you to tell me what is the history of the language? What do you think is the future? How has it been preserved? There is so much you can share with me today.
Okay, 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 okay. Thank you very much for asking me about that and giving the respect my ancient language.
My pleasure.
Okay, okay. So we have Lord Shiva. Okay, you might have heard the name of Lord Shiva, and he just started playing one type of drum. Okay, we tells the damru, and the damru that pronounce the 14 sounds. Okay, they are called the Maheswar Sutrani, like the I un ro ruk aong ayoch ayvarat lanyamanganam, like that, the 14 sounds. And when the grammaticians, he listened these all voices and he written the one book on grammar. Okay,
Wow.
yeah. So it is a scientifically arranged. For example, English alphabet, there are 26 letters in English alphabet. But in Sanskrit, there are more than 40, 45 words. Okay, first the vowels and consonants, like the vowels. So he just arranged all words, first vowels, then all consonants. So scientifically
Wow.
designed.
Beautiful. So I have noticed when I hear the language read or chanted, it sounds very musical. Is this intentional? And what is the purpose?
Because I was talking about Sanskrit language, that's why I was so enthusiastic to talk about that language because I have studied a lot about the language. That's why.
Wow. So, what is the most fascinating fact about the language that you would be thrilled to share today?
Okay, so actually, in this language, mantras, they are very holy. And when you chant this mantra, people like to listen to you. So that's why I like this language very much.
All right. So what about some experiences? How is this language useful in the modern times?
Hmm. Okay, so sometimes I have read on Google, it is the most friendly language for supercomputer, and NASA is also working on it. because this language is 100% correct. There is no a minor if error in this language. That's why. So you can also try it. Okay, after the class, you can try it. What is the importance and why it is called the scientific language in the world?
Yes, I will be excited to research this. I find ancient languages to
Mm,
be fascinating and full of so many details and characters.
mm,
So when we speak languages, we find at times that we can't quite translate something accurately because there's an idea that existed in the
mm,
ancient mind. And that's kind of like discovering a treasure to me when
mm.
I learn something new. So, is there a particular word or sound that is beautiful to you? And will you share it with me?
What is beautiful about this language?
A word, for instance, I think the simple word for a dustpan, right? So we have a broom and a dustpan, a very humble object, correct? However, in a Semitic language, the name of dustpan sounds particularly beautiful to me in its simplicity. It's called a ya'eh. And I thought, how simple, but it sounds something breathy and something beautiful when I hear this word, even though I know that it's a simple household cleaning tool. Perhaps you have experienced this, that there is a word that stands out in Sanskrit to you as just a very beautiful, rhythmic, or interesting word. Do you have this experience?
Okay, there are so many interesting words. All words have, the story behind it, why it is pronounced like that, why it is written like that.
So perhaps you'll share one with me.
Okay, for example, pen. It is called the lekhani, a pen. So lekhani, it is known as the lekhani.
The
Okay,
lekani, a
conversation.
pin.
Yeah,
Did I
conversation.
understand you well?
Yeah, vartalapah. Conversation, vartalapah.
Okay, that's wapalap.
Vartalapah. Lapah.
Lapaha.
Vartalapah.
Huh. Again, this is a sound that doesn't exist in the English language. So, so
Hmm.
much to experience and learn. Tell
Hmm.
me, is there a sound that is difficult to pronounce or something that is a challenge for you with the English language?
Okay, in English language. Okay, in English language, difficult words to pronounce, or in Sanskrit.
In English, is there anything that's difficult to pronounce? For instance, a new sound for you that you had to practice to master.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, in India, people say like the pizza, but yesterday I studied that it's a pizza. Okay, the pronunciation is the pizza, but it
Indeed.
is known as a pizza like that.
Indeed. Yes, this is one of those international words that
Yeah.
everyone recognizes. Pizza, burger. Yeah, these are kind of American and international words, but people pronounce them quite different. Where I live, they say burger, and it sounds strange being an American, but it was
Hmm.
clear that we're talking about a burger.
Hmm.
Well, tell me, this is very interesting, your studies in language. What other activities do you enjoy?
Okay, I enjoy public speaking, then having conversation with foreign people.
Wonderful. So, do you give conferences? Do you give talks about the language, your studies in language? Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you give talks to large crowds?
yeah. I go to the different schools also to teach the train the teachers also
Ah,
how to teach effectively in the classroom.
right. So,
Okay, especially I talk about English language. Okay, English language is not a subject. It's a language.
Mhm.
So just treat this language as a language, not a subject. Don't study for marks. So just start speaking, whether it is right or wrong. So by using this method, you can get the fluency of this language.
Wonderful. So I like this piece of advice. As a language learner myself, I find that one of the most difficult things for people to do, including myself, is to be comfortable with making mistakes, to have those conversations. But I find in the manner of children, children repeat, they listen and repeat again until they get
Hmm.
the structures of the sentences correct. And when I overcome my fear, I find that I am more successful. Do you have any other advice that you suggest for language learners?
Okay. Okay. So I always tell my students and sometimes the other teachers, don't worry about making mistakes while learning language or while speaking. Just think about your childhood. How did you learn your mother tongue?
Exactly.
So while learning your mother tongue, you made hundreds of mistakes, but after making mistakes, you got the fluency. That time, before going to school, you were not able to write and read, but you could speak. So just read this language like that. First, try to speak
Indeed.
and don't worry about mistakes. So while making mistakes, you will realize this is your mistake. Then you automatically you can correct your mistakes, and eventually you get fluency of that language.
Wonderful advice. So, what is, I think we have just discussed one of the number one problems that people face. What would you say is the number two, the second challenge that people should overcome?
Uh, Second is they also think about the grammatical mistakes.
Hmm, sure. So,
Mm,
there is discussion presently about the best way to learn a language. And I've heard of we don't need to learn a language, but we should acquire a language.
mm,
And you have just expressed to me the ideas of acquiring a language, not being afraid to speak like a child. So I very much agree with this theory that we should dive in and really experience the language and not be afraid to make mistakes. Wonderful. So we have only 2 minutes left. Tell me, you've told me about your
yeah.
professional life. What about your family? What about hobbies? What's important to you in your life?
Okay. First, I did not want to be a teacher, but anyhow, I become a teacher, and I completed my graduation and post graduation with Sanskrit subject, but I became an English teacher.
Now, how did this occur?
Okay, because Sanskrit is an ancient language. Okay, so many people don't want to study because it is not useful everywhere. This is only the part of our culture. That's why we want to survive it. Okay, we want to preserve it.
Preserve it, correct.
But in the whole world, which is the most valuable language, English. So to earn money, I had to come in this line, and I started teaching English language. And while teaching, I studied it,
Wonderful. So,
and that's why I'm talking with you also to improve my language. Actually, yeah.
yeah,
Why I subscribe Cambly, because to improve my English language. So the more I practice here, the better I can perform in the future with other students.
indeed. And so, my assessment to this point is that Cambly is perfect for you. I think that you're on the right track, meaning you're going in the right direction,
Thank you.
to really continue to have conversations so that you can exercise these skills that you clearly have a very solid knowledge of. So, depending on your goals, your grammar is great, but if your goal is to
Thank
sound
you.
native, then I can imagine that we can practice the intonations on how to pronounce these words. But beautifully done. Great work and very nice to meet you. I wish you the best.
And thank you. And I like your hairstyle.